Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
And thanks for joining us. 888-900-3393. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. We welcome back Keith, who lost the water weight over the weekend, which is nice. Good to see that the swelling went down.
It's all in the diet, Pat. There's a crash diet this weekend.
Oh, okay.
And
all right. Well, congratulations.
Took care of that.
Yeah, that really did the job.
Let me eat.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Thanks to Jeffy for making it all possible.
Yeah.
For hanging in there for me. And
exactly.
Got a good
so you had a good vacation?
Yeah. New England is
beautiful this time of year.
Oh my gosh.
Seriously, beautiful this time of year.
It didn't get I didn't tell you this before we went on. It didn't get above 65 degrees.
Oh, God.
And it was sunny. The weather was perfect. It was Chamber of Commerce everywhere.
I can't tell you how sick of the heat I am.
I am too already.
I want it to go away.
I know.
Please, by all that is holy.
I think it was 101 here yesterday. I'm serious. I think that's what it got up to.
Probably
that's
close to that.
That's what it was forecast to.
Yeah, it was hot. It was hot. It's always hot here. Always. I'm just so tired of it. Stop! I don't know what it is. This year I've been so anxious for actual autumn. You know, we're watching autumn shows on TV. We've got autumn ambiance. It's always on the TV when we're not watching something. We've decorated for Halloween, and then it's 105 outside.
You still turning that air conditioner on?
Yes, trying to make it feel cold. Although it's nowhere near cold enough in my house to turn on the fireplace like we used to do. Just not. We're not there yet.
Can I just say, I am a diehard Atlanta Braves fan, but my goodness, you take the tour of Fenway Park. If you don't have a baseball
that had to
team,
be fun.
You want to be a Red Sox fan. The history there is just, it's so good.
You took a tour?
Took a tour of Fenway Park.
How much is that?
$25
a piece.
Yeah. In fact, I bought the tickets for the wrong time, and we walk up to the window, and I thought, this guy is not going to be cool. And I just told him what I did. I picked the wrong time. He goes, "Hey, what time you want to go?" And I'm like, "Do you have one starting right now?" He's like, "Yeah, here you go. Have fun."
Nice.
I mean, the people up there were insanely nice.
Oh, that's great.
I could not believe it. We couldn't get over it.
Wow.
So anyway, it was a great trip. You got to do the little walking tour on your own. You don't need a tour guide. On your own through Boston. And the history there, of course, is just...
Oh, my gosh, yes.
Indescribable.
When we lived back east, we did that several times. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to miss that.
Yes, sir.
You did the old church thing with the...
Yep. The one if by land, two if by sea church.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Got to see where the 1919 molasses flood, the Great Molasses Flood that killed, I think, 21 people in Boston.
Yeah.
And right now there's a baseball field.
It's hard to believe, even now, after we've investigated that to see it's not urban legend. Hard to believe that really happened. People died in a molasses flood. Incredible.
Yeah, they put too much molasses in a big storage tank. And it took out cars. It crushed people to death.
It's not funny.
Horrific.
But fortunately, it was a long time ago.
Yeah. But if you ever get
it's
a
not
chance...
too soon on that one.
Get up to New England in the fall.
Oh, so beautiful.
We crossed into Canada. It's lovely up there, too. I mean, I just had to go. Maine,
So it's probably a little past peak, is it? Because they're so far up north.
There's a couple areas where they had some rain that had knocked some leaves down. But for the most part, northern Vermont, northern New Hampshire were peak.
But compared to Texas, which doesn't have autumn, it had to be spectacular.
You literally have to stand outside for 5 minutes in late January, I think. And you're like, that was winter.
There went fall
and winter.
And winter.
Yeah, all in the same 5 minutes.
Then the next day, we're back to 107 degrees.
Hate it.
God!
I will say one last thing on this. Is that you know how much I love your home state of Montana.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that Maine has to take over the number one spot in my heart.
Really?
Bro.
Wow.
So good.
Wow.
It's beautiful with the mountains and the
I've heard it's
ocean
beautiful. I've never been there. Never been to Maine.
Islands and the lobster.
The lobster.
You got to get to Bar Harbor, okay? And sorry, I got to do this one more time. Hold on. In Boston. Wicked smart. There, I did it.
Good. It was pretty good.
Thank you.
It was convincing.
I love it up there, man. It's so nice.
Fun.
It's a shame that most every state up there has been ruined by politicians.
Yeah, that is too bad.
That's the problem.
That's too bad. It was I don't know how it was for you, Keith. It was a perfect football weekend for me.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Me too.
Yeah, it was good? Yeah. Nebraska didn't play, did they play?
They had a bye week, but somehow they ended up in the coaches' top 25.
Oh, good.
Love that now.
Yeah,
ranked
good.
25th. And then the Falcons destroyed Carolina yesterday with the help of former BYU running back Tyler Algier.
Nice.
Who is a monster.
Yeah, he's good, man. He's so good.
It's a great 1-2 punch. Maybe the best in the NFL. Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. Boom, boom.
Yeah, I don't think I don't know who would compare to that 1-2 punch. Mm-hmm. They're both really good.
Yeah.
I just don't think Tyler gets enough carries anymore, but
he got more than Bijan yesterday, and he looked great doing it. And I watched the BYU game because it wasn't on at midnight.
Yeah. Afternoon game this time.
Yeah, that was a good game. That was exciting. Some great catches in that game.
BYU crushed Arizona 41-19, and they're up to 13th in the poll. And they also had a big noon kickoff from Fox, the big Fox college football show.
Like they were on the campus there?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were at Provo. Largest crowd ever. So it was a great weekend. They had some big recruits for both football and basketball. That was a good weekend to have them be there because I'm sure Provo was rocking. And then the Packers won yesterday. My Capitol High Bruins.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Won again. Ranked second in the great state of Montana.
Okay.
And so it was a good football weekend all around. Now, tomorrow marks 3 weeks exactly till the election. 3 weeks from tomorrow. I mean, it's on us now. Mm-hmm. What is the count on Biden's presidency now? How many days do we have to suffer through this guy?
Chris, this better be good news.
Chris, help us, please.
Better be.
We should
98 days.
98. We're in double digits.
Yes!
Double-digit days. Nice. Okay, just 98 days. We can make it. And it's only, 22 days before the election.
Ooh.
So let's hope that goes well.
We got to get this done, y'all.
Oh, my gosh. Absolutely have to.
But real quick, I was surprised how many Trump signs were in the Northeast.
Oh, really?
And I mean in blue areas, too. When you drive around up there and you go to the 2016 election results, and you'll be stunned. I mean, these people are schizophrenic. There's some areas that are very red, some areas that are very blue. Obviously, the big cities went out in the end, like they normally do in these states.
Sadly, yes.
But I was genuinely shocked by how much Trump support. And you drive around here, there's hardly any signs.
I know.
You drive around up there, you stick out if you don't have a sign.
Wow.
Very weird.
Wow, and mostly Trump?
No. I'd say it was split evenly throughout, and I had
what you wouldn't expect necessarily.
No.
Places like that. But here's some of what Donald Trump had to say over the weekend.
We will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity and hope. We're going to bring back the American dream. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and stop her radical left agenda once and for all. We want a landslide that is too big to rig, And again, early mail-in voting is underway, and you have to get out there and do it and get everyone you know to vote. Because think of this. After everything that we've been through a lot together, right? Okay, these are vicious, horrible people. I call it the enemy from within. We stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. If we win this election, we're going to have the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. With your help, from now until Election Day, we will redeem America's promise. We will put America first, and we will take back the nation that we love. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country. And together, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud vote again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Thank you, Reno. Thank you. God bless you.
Wow. That's enough to give you chills.
Yeah, can we vote? When do we start voting in Texas?
I don't know. Has it started?
I'm ready to go.
I think it starts 2 weeks before here, right?
Yeah, I think it's a week from today.
Yeah. So that might be even a little bit early, even here. I mean, do we really need 2 weeks? Do you really need that? Maybe. I don't know. But there's certain states that have been voting for a couple of weeks already. Mm-hmm. And that is definitely too soon. Because who knows what can happen between then, in late September and the election in November. Come on. Silly. But Glenn spent a lot of time with him over the weekend.
Sure did.
With Donald Trump. He opened for him. They were on panels together. So should be cool. Maybe he'll stop in at 6:30 and tell us about it. Would be nice.
Is he already back? Or is he?
I think so.
He's coming back. Okay,
I think so.
Cool.
I haven't heard that I'm filling in for him, so he must be back.
That's always the telltale sign.
Don't jinx it.
Yeah, it could happen any minute now.
And I gotta say, Trump loves the hyperbole, and he threw in "this is the most important day in the history of our nation," and I laughed. My initial reaction was to laugh at that, and then I thought,
wait a minute,
hold on,
it's true.
Hang on, that might be accurate too.
Yeah.
Oh gosh,
that might not be hyperbole.
Right.
We've said it many times. I mean, and you say it pretty much every election, but every election it's kind of true. It's another super important day, November 5th.
So true.
And because of what we've gone through the last 4 years, the next 4 are critical. You could either finish us off or you could pull us back from the brink and make it the greatest 4 years in the history of our country. That would be awesome. So let's do that. Let's do that instead of pushing us over the edge of the cliff with Kamala Harris. No, thank you. I don't want that. But he even drew a really big crowd at the Coachella Festival in California.
Did we get a final count on that, Chris? Have you seen? I've seen all sorts of estimates here from 15,000 on the low end. And then they turned away maybe 30,000 more or something.
Oh, wow.
But 15,000 was the capacity of the area that he was in.
And they definitely filled that,
Definitely
right?
filled that. At Coachella, of all places.
Incredible.
That is incredible.
There was a man who was arrested at a checkpoort with a gun on him, I think, and then several in the car. But he claims to be a Trump fan. Oh, I'm a big Trump fan.
That's why I'm showing up in an unregistered SUV with homemade license plates and all sorts of aliases in my vehicle.
Yeah.
And a gun. And by the way, he's free on $5,000 bail. We'll see you in
$5,000 bail.
See you in January at the court date.
Wow. Well, that's so. The local authorities are saying we averted yet another attempt on his life.
Yeah. That
would be the third attempt. Now, he calls that BS. He claimed he's a Trump supporter, and the sheriff's deputies claim the exact opposite. But because Sheriff Chad Bianco said he truly believes his deputy stopped a third assassination attempt against him.
Yeah, this guy got through the first ring of security, first perimeter, got stopped by this one. Secret Service would have been the third ring of security. So nice to see.
Yeah.
He got stopped. He had guns and ammo in his vehicle. But no, I'm there as a supporter.
Uh-huh.
That's me.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So weird.
He said, I'm an artist. I'm the last person that would cause any violence and harm to anybody. So I guess artists can't hurt people? I wasn't aware of that.
Wow.
That's an interesting fact.
That is. Okay.
So, all right.
Good to know.
Well, then take your guns and go ahead and go in.
Be sure to use that excuse. If you get tired of using the I was raised a middle-class kid.
Right.
Then
I'm
you
an
can
artist.
Just say, I'm an artist. Look.
I'm an artist.
So
wouldn't hurt a fly. What are you talking about?
Boy, I'm glad that kudos to the security there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Thank goodness.
And we were talking about the crowd size there. There's a guy who is in the realm of data. And you remember on the 2000 Mules movie that we watched with Dinesh D'Souza, and they're able to ping where all these cell phones are from or whatever. This guy was talking about the crowd sizes at Kamala's rally, and man, she's getting a lot of rallies. And he said that that they pinged 4,000 over 4,000 cell phones at the recent Kamala Harris rally in Arizona. Only 531 of those 4,300 mobile devices were from Arizona. Over 2,000 were from California.
Oh.
And 92% were at 3 or more Kamala rallies. In other words,
same people are showing up.
Yeah, the 92% are the same people traveling with her little clown show.
Isn't that interesting?
And well more than half are from California alone. And again, an Arizona rally with 4,300 devices pinged, only 500 of those were from Arizona.
Wow.
So don't be fooled. Yeah. Perception is not always reality.
So are they paying people?
Right.
That's the next logical question. Are they paying people to show up at these rallies? Amazing. And here was Kamala over the weekend.
Oh, can't wait.
Yeah.
So when we think about what's at stake in this election, whoa, it's packed with some stuff. It's packed with some fundamental stuff.
It is.
I say rather articulately.
As always. Oh, she's always articulate.
I say rather articulately. I can't even do what she did. Wow, that was, she's good.
Oh, she's great. Yeah, she's really awesome. There's a new ad out in support of Kamala Harris as she's targeting the male vote.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man, man.
And I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Meat.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
I ain't afraid of bears.
That's what bear hugs are for.
And I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women.
I'm not afraid of women.
I'm not afraid of women.
They want to control their bodies? I say go for it.
Brother.
They want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of families.
They want to be childless cat ladies?
Have all the cats you want.
Woman wants to be president?
Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
Because I'm man enough to support women.
Man enough to know what kind of donuts I like.
Man enough to admit I'm lost, even when I refuse to ask for directions.
Man enough to not ban young women from reading Little Women.
Or one of those pants books that the sisters like.
I'm man enough to raw dog a flight. It sucked. Not worth it.
I'm man enough to be emotional in front of my wife.
In front of my kids.
In front of my horse. I'm man enough to tell you that I cry at Love Actually. Good Will Hunting.
West Side Story.
That and Predator.
And I'm sick of so-called men domineering, belittling, and controlling women just so they can feel more powerful. That's not how my mama raised me.
I love women.
I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge.
And I'm man enough to help them win.
I love how he sits on that truck.
Good gosh, that's just embarrassing. I'm man enough to support women being killed while they're in the womb. Let's murder as many potential women as we possibly can. That's how manned up I am. I support the murder of babies. I'm man enough to support that. Okay, great.
Are you man enough to keep men out of women's sports?
No. Oh, speaking of which, that Colin Allred stuff is driving me out of my mind. Have you? How many ads is he running compared to Ted Cruz here in this state?
Oh, 100-0?
Yeah, about that. Yeah. It's pretty darn close. The only ones I've seen from Ted Cruz, I'm not even. Are they from Ted? Yeah, because he's approved the message. So the only ones I see that run against Colin Allred are the ones that are mentioning the fact that he wants boys to be able to compete against girls in sports. But there is so much there to talk about with Colin Allred. Oh my gosh. If you're not aware, he's running against Ted Cruz. He's actually in some polls pulled ahead of Ted Cruz in the Senate race here in Texas.
I'm very concerned about that.
I'm incredibly concerned because he's running ads like they're free. And maybe they are for the Democrats. I don't know.
It's amazing how much money you can get when you're laundering it through foreign countries.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah. Isn't it? And that's pretty much where his money is seemingly coming from. Not much of it is Texas money, but his commercials are everywhere.
120 million? Who's spending that? Let's see.
Wow.
Is that Allred's impact?
I'll bet it is. Yeah, gosh. And he's making a big deal out of the fact that he played football. He was the captain and one of the captains on the Baylor team. Played in the NFL, I guess, for a while. But he's blaming Ted Cruz for abortion not being available at Walmarts and 7-Elevens and drive-through fast food restaurants. I'm pretty sure that's what they want, is for abortion to be on demand anytime, anywhere you are. You need to be able to perform an abortion. And then Allred proclaims that Ted Cruz is only in this for himself because he went to Mexico during the outage.
I know.
Oh, my gosh. But he's going to serve all Texans. Really? What have you done so far for Texans, for all Texans? Well, what have you ever done for Texas?
The ones that can manage to survive until they get out of the womb, I guess.
Yeah, right. Right.
I will say that the Trump ad that I'm seeing consistently is, and we've talked about this, is the anti-Kamala one where she is sitting there with the transgender dude talking about how she wanted transgender surgeries for prison inmates in California.
Oh, yeah.
She got that done. I mean, she made it a crusade. I forgot the word she used, but something very similar to that. And I love how it ends, because I don't remember this tag a few weeks ago, but now it ends with Kamala Harris is for they, them. Donald Trump is for you. Something like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that is good. So as far as that commercial that we just showed you for Kamala, is this the guy who...
Oh, this is the guy that came up with it.
This is the guy that came up with it.
Yeah.
All right.
I like him.
The Rorschach test, and everyone wondering what they're seeing here. But what was your intention in creating this parody and the substance of the message?
He's exactly what I thought
he'd
be.
great question. So, I mean, I think about masculinity a lot because I'm a dad now raising kids, and I think in this country, it's something we don't talk about a lot.
Sure,
and
that's
so
right.
I had this idea watching the back-to-back conventions where at the Democratic convention, there's men who are looking at the women who they work with or who they're in relationships with admiration and respect. At the Republican National Convention, you have, everything's about size, crowd size, this size, that size. You're playing Macho Man. What? Literally, Hulk Hogan is ripping his shirt off. I mean, it was such a cartoon of masculinity that it really... The juxtaposition was hilarious. Wow, you guys got that picture fast. Holy moly. So I come from comedy, and comedy comes from juxtaposition. And
he's hilarious.
To me, I was just riffing with my friends thinking, wouldn't it be funny if you took these ideas of like so macho, you got to tell everyone how macho you are all the time, masculinity, and what I feel is a more real version of what it means to be a man.
Like people more like me.
Yeah, you cry at a rom-com, you braid your daughter's hair, you go pick up tampons from the store. Someone needs tampons.
So manly.
Who cares? And so to me, putting those together, but treating it like as if it's a real,
brilliant. That's genius.
Rugged man political ad,
just genius,
funny.
My friend.
And I still think it was funny.
Do you? He still thinks it was funny. So that's fantastic. Good.
Okay.
So there's the guy who created that big macho ad that shows you don't have to be macho.
Whew. He's funny.
You can look feminine. You can sound feminine. You can like feminine things. It's fine. It's fine. Nobody said it wasn't. Go ahead and cry at Dove commercials, for instance.
Wait, Dove commercials? Wait, hold on. We might need to explore this one.
Or Budweiser commercials, whatever.
Yeah.
You masculine, manly men think is inappropriate to cry over.
Did you hear what he said? He was like, and it was all about size and crowd size.
Yeah.
Can I hate to do this, but this guy's pissing me off. Can we put up a picture of him, that little still shot of him on CNN? Because if we're talking about size, well, no, not that one. The one where he's holding up his hand there. Maybe we could do that one instead.
Does he have super big hands?
Boy, you love
Is that
it
what you're going to say?
When you set something up and then there we go.
Oh, yeah. That looks like a little mini hand.
Thank you. It's not just me, right?
No.
It looks really almost like it's a fake hand that someone's holding up.
It does. It's great.
So now we see why he feels so threatened.
His hands are small, I know, but they're not yours. They are his own. And
we know what they say about. Well, never mind. Happy Monday.
Wow. Also, Jennifer Garner has a message for men too. So.
Listen, I know you've knocked and knocked, and I know you've called and called. I know you've given and given, and you're worn out. But the truth is, you are the front lines. This is it. I mean, I'm looking at these beautiful faces, these women, and these strong men. God, is there anything sexier than a man who is like men for Kamala?
Oh my gosh! Oh, this is so disappointing.
You are the front line of this battle.
You're killing me.
For lack of a better word, it really is. There are two ways forward, and you guys are going to have a huge voice in how that way is chosen.
Okay.
Oh, that's very disappointing.
Or as Charity Manson points out on Twitter this morning, maybe Ben did nothing wrong.
Right. Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah.
And you'll think that until he opens up his stupid mouth, too. But that's just, I've never heard her speak politically before.
I have not either.
So,
but there you go.
I mean, you suspect they're all that way, but it's the confirmation hurts. It still hurts. Wow. Now, John Bon Jovi has also officially endorsed Kamala Harris.
Who could have seen that one coming?
No one.
Do we have the tweet that he put up? Because, yeah, like you said, he is officially, because it was shocking. Right, but there you go. There's his tweet, Pat.
Okay. The People's House is a song that celebrates this beautiful place that we call home, from sea to shining sea. The truth matters. Oh, tell that to Kamala, would you?
Right.
And the truth is, on Election Day, I'll be voting for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz because I believe in the power of we, not of me. I've written a song reminding us that out of many, we are still one.
Oh, I bet it's good.
I bet it is.
Let's see.
Do we have a little piece of that?
No, we got a piece of it.
Oh, okay.
We are building this house of love.
This is gay.
Building this house. Building this house. This is the people's house.
This is a really bad
song. Shining sea.
Oh, it's so
Rocky Mountain building walls. These halls are city streets.
This is
Wrecking boys gonna knock it down. Wrecking boys gonna come and steal the key.
Oh, my gosh.
This is the people's house. The house of you and me.
Okay.
I mean, look, if anything good came from that, he saved that lady's life on that bridge. Now we know what he was filming that music video for. Remember that? That's the bridge.
I do remember that. Right.
So,
right.
He's good, though.
Oh,
right?
man.
He is so good.
Although I'll keep my social distance, what this world needs is a hug.
Till we find the vaccination, there's no substitute for love.
There just isn't.
So love yourself and love your family.
Love your neighbor and a friend.
Anytime you love a stranger, they're just a friend you ain't made.
He's good. He's good.
Joe with the artistic zoom. that remember that song we did?
Oh, man. If only he would have retired, I don't know, about 30 years ago. Everything would be fine, you know? Then he would have had a nice career, and we don't have to hear about it anymore.
We wouldn't be repulsed whenever we think of him now.
Right. They've got to ruin it, though. I mean, I've never been a gigantic Bon Jovi fan, but yeah, it's okay.
Whatever, yeah.
I like his stuff.
And now it's vomitous.
It is. Yeah, it is. Just sad. And it's just incredible how almost all successful artists are all lefties. It's almost like the committee investigating Hollywood back in the 50s was onto something. It's almost like that. I know it can't be that.
Almost like
but it's just almost like maybe there were some commies in the entertainment industry. I'm sure that's not the case, but it's almost like it is the case. 888-900-3393. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
And we welcome into the show Glenn Beck, who spent the weekend with Donald Trump.
No, I spent 2 hours with Donald Trump.
Spent 2 hours with Donald Trump.
Yes.
Or virtually the entire weekend.
Virtually, if you want to look at it that way, entire time. Yeah.
But you were on, I don't know, so like a question-answer panel or something?
So I was on a panel with him, and it was just talking about people of faith and how people of faith need to get out and vote because they're going to make the difference. They will make the difference. If we could all just grab one person who is like, I don't know, if we just get, each of us just got one person, it would be a landslide. A landslide.
Yeah.
You don't have to convince the people who are voting for Kamala. You need to convince the ones who are like, I don't know.
I don't like Trump because of his character or whatever problem there is.
I mean, get over that. The country
because
is
the alternative.
at stake.
Are you saying that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are clean as the driven snow?
No,
because nothing could be further from the truth.
But it's not even that. I mean, you know, Pat, we have talked about lesser of two evils forever. I hate that.
I know.
I absolutely hate that.
Me too.
This time, it is the end of the country. I mean, Donald Trump is very, very clear. He is very concerned about nuclear war.
Should be.
Yeah. And he's like, we are headed. These people are going to pull us into another war. And this time it's going to be disastrous. Yeah. The second thing he's worried about is the collapse of the Constitution. It's over.
Yeah.
It's like he told me yesterday, this will be the last time that you have a constitutional republic election if she wins. It will be a different America.
Oh, I don't disagree with that at all.
I mean, they've made that pretty clear.
Oh, they've made it
Tim
really
Walz
clear.
is talking about eliminating the Electoral College.
Yeah.
That's already out there.
I was with a podcaster that has like 24 million followers or something, and they're not political. And they said, we are right now. They said and they were freaked out because they've not dealt with all of the banning stuff and the downgrades. And they said, we're terrified of what's coming our way. But we know if we don't act this time, if we aren't involved and we don't go out and vote, our whole platform will be gone.
Yeah.
And it's true that freedom of speech, freedom of religion, you know, her centerpiece legislation when she was in the Senate, you should have Mike Lee on. Her centerpiece was the Do No Harm Act or something like that. And it was taking apart the First Amendment, freedom of religion, totally taking it apart. That it does not, the Constitution does not supersede things like Department of Justice rules or civil rights rules, et cetera, et cetera. So in other words, you are a protected person, and if you happen to be gay and your church doesn't take gay ministers, they do now.
Wow.
They have to. I mean, it is... It's over. It's over.
Well, and look what they, if you don't believe this, look what they did with their own nomination.
Yeah.
That was going to be a wide open democratic process. And about 3 hours later, nope, Kamala Harris is our nominee. I mean, it happened so fast, and they just jammed it down the throats of their constituents.
They're afraid.
Very afraid.
They are truly afraid. They are on the verge of losing. If everybody goes out and vote early. And remember, they're going to vote often. So at least vote once and do it early.
Yeah.
But they're panicked. And his internal polls show him way up, except Pennsylvania.
Okay. Well, if he wins the other contested states.
Right. I know.
That
I talked to
won't
one
matter.
of his. I talked to Kash Patel, and he's like, "Yeah, I'd rather I'd rather have Pennsylvania really locked in for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that, Trump, and you mentioned this, has said is it's got to be too big to rig. I mean, like you said, you got to drag people to the polls to make sure that they just don't stay at home. They go out and they vote for Donald Trump. Because in my many conversations on my podcast with Jovan Pulitzer, he said that this thing has been, the fraud has been in place since before the 2016 election. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Trump won that. And he's like, yeah, it was too big to rig. They tried what they got away with in 2020 because people stayed at home or weren't as interested in voting as they were in 2016, is they couldn't bring all of those states' vote tallies up to where Trump was because his support was so widespread. So let's make sure it's too big to rig, because we've accomplished this before in 2016 in spite of the fraud.
Well, here's another good thing. He is way up from the last two elections. He's doing better now than he did in 16. He's doing better than he was in 2020. Like,
even in the polls that we see.
Oh, yeah.
Not just internal.
Hold on, this is good stuff here.
Yeah.
Because we do forget that from time to time.
Oh, yeah. He does not poll well. Now, we don't know, past performance isn't indicative of future success, but he doesn't poll well. And he is, if he
Because a lot of people don't admit they're going to vote for him.
Yeah.
Is that what they...
only concern
they think is, they don't think that is going to be shy with... our side. They think it's shy with their side.
Right. Yeah.
So in other words, people who are traditionally Democrat don't want to say it out loud, but when they close the curtain, they'll go.
So they're where a lot of conservatives were 8 years ago.
Yes.
Is what you're saying. Yeah, okay. Simon Ateba, Donald Trump is in a stronger position now than in 2016 and 2020. While he's still trailing Kamala Harris, the deficit is much smaller than before. This could be due to... Anyway, he says that he trails by 1.8% nationally, a smaller margin than in 2020 and 2016. At this point in 2020, Biden led by 10.3%. Kamala...
10.3%. Wow.
Currently, Kamala at 1.8%.
Wow.
In 2016, he trailed Hillary by 6%. So
he said he
was doing better.
And he won.
He said he averages 8% higher than the polls.
I believe it.
Interesting. Good.
I mean, if that's true and he puts 8 points on where he's at, that's too big to.
But that reason for optimism is not a reason to stay home and think this thing is in the bag.
It means
nothing if you don't get out there.
I've never heard him like this. I mean, he was, so he's always so optimistic. And he leaned over to me at one point. He's like, after giving all the poll numbers and stuff, and people are talking, he leans over and he's like, okay, so what's your gut tell you? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I said, you'd win. You're trending the right way at the right time.
Right.
I said, but it's,
I know.
the cheating.
I know.
And he said, I know, but we've made good progress in many states on that.
They've cleaned up rolls.
Cleaning up rolls. He said, they've got all kinds of tricks and surprises. He said, but... and this is where I've never heard him like this before. He's like, just get one other person. Just get one more person to go out and vote. I mean, it really is to the individual. Because remember, they're doing it by busloads.
Right.
I was thinking about this morning. They go out and they're paid to go get voters and bring them to the polls. We don't do that.
No, we don't.
We don't do that.
And
so
we should.
We need to do it because we should.
Bring them to, don't vote for them or don't tell them who to vote for, but bring them. And especially if you suspect they're Trump supporters, get them to the poll.
Yes. I mean,
it has to be done.
It has to be done. It absolutely has to be done. Think of the hospitals that, I don't know if you've read about the hospitals where some of the mental patients that cannot make decisions for themselves.
No, those are locked in Democrat votes.
They are. Yeah. The hospitals are going in and the doctors are going in and voting and getting them to vote.
Yeah, jeez.
I mean, it is really bad.
Dirty.
Yeah. So Mike Lee was with you?
Yeah,
too?
Mike Lee was with me.
Over the weekend?
Yeah, he was great. And the crowd
Did he speak at the rally?
Yeah. Yeah. He spoke right before me.
Is he on the Supreme Court short list?
I don't know, but I
hope so.
Probably.
Yeah,
probably.
He'd definitely accept that, right?
Yeah, Donald Trump
I think he wants that.
Yeah, Donald Trump is he is driven, and I think I just think he knows exactly what to do. He was saying yesterday about people were bringing up different things, First Amendment rights, Second Amendment, freedom of speech, the press, and everything else, and he's like, just get one more person to vote.
Right.
And I'm going to take care of all of this. I'm telling you, we have the plan. We know what we're going to do. We know who the opposition is this time.
Yeah.
And we're going to clean house.
What are your thoughts on Ted Cruz and the Colin Allred race? Have you been paying attention?
Yeah,
much to that?
I have.
It looks like he's in trouble. I can't believe it.
I hear both sides. I hear, internal polling, not from Cruz's people.
Yeah.
I've just heard it from friends of friends. You know what I mean? They're like, but internal polling shows that's not true.
Oh,
I don't.
That Allred isn't up on him?
Yeah, but I don't know, Pat.
Yeah, I don't like
I
he's running such a heavy schedule. He is. Colin Allred is everywhere. It's making me very nervous.
Soros money.
Yeah.
It's all
I know
Soros
it's all out
money.
of state Soros money.
I
Almost
mean,
all of it.
I know.
What were we saying? 120 million he spent on the Senate race so far? Something like that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Oh, I know.
And he's everywhere.
With Carrie Lake, I think she said it was $80 million that they're spending against her. Something like
I
that.
bet. Yeah. They can't stand her.
I know.
How's she doing in the polls? I haven't even paid attention.
I don't know. I've
to that.
heard both. I talked to Mike Lee and I said, "How's she doing?" And he said, "I think she's going to be the next
Governor?
Senator."
Yeah.
And
Senator.
I said, "How do you feel about that?" And he's like, "Oh my God, I would love to have her." He said, "We need warriors in the Senate."
Yeah.
And he said, "I would love to have her." And then I talked to somebody else, and they said, "No, there's not a chance she's going to win."
Oh, wow.
So I don't know. I mean, she was there at this rally, and she got a huge round of applause. There were a couple of people that walked on stage that
the last
really
might have been Republicans in name only.
Oh, wow.
The last 4 polls that have all come out in the last 2 weeks show her trailing. All of them show her trailing by 7.
Ooh, dang.
New York Times, Siena, The Hill, Emerson. Yeah.
Well,
don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
But
Don't
hey,
know.
get out and vote.
You know,
I don't care.
if Donald Trump wins by 7,
maybe he drags her along with him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That would be great. All right. Thanks,
you.
Glenn.
You bet.
Appreciate it. All right. Let me tell you about the Blaze Unlimited. This is really exciting because contrary to popular belief, people do read magazines still, especially this audience. We read things. Our best and most important ideas are still captured in print, which is why we've decided to launch a premium quarterly magazine, Frontier, which I have right here. It's absolutely beautiful. And it comes with articles by people like the man you just heard from, Glenn Beck. Also Matt Taibbi, Chris Rufo, Mark Levin. And this is just the beginning. As part of our new Blaze Unlimited membership, you'll get exclusive access to not only Frontier Magazine delivered right to your front door, but you'll also get a lot more. As a founding member of Blaze Unlimited, you'll also receive a limited edition founding members card, the VIP event access, and chance to have your voice heard. This membership is about joining the mission to defend free speech and uphold the American way of life. That's what this is all about. Join Blaze Unlimited today. Let's stand together and keep the spirit of America alive.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Yeah, I just get a sick feeling in the pit of my stomach every time I think about November 5th because it's just so important. And who knows? Who knows what's going to happen here? Yeah. I don't know. People ask me that all the time. You think is he going to win? I don't know. I hope so. But can he overcome all of the factors that are against him? Mm-hmm. From cheating to the mass media bashing him, 90 to 95% of the stories are negative on him, whereas the opposite is true for Kamala Harris. They're 90% positive for her. Can he overcome all those things? I hope so.
I'm very concerned with the period between November 5th and January 20th, regardless of who is, quote, declared the winner.
That's true. That's a little bit scary as well. Because there's going to be one faction or another that just doesn't accept it. So, and, look at the rhetoric that they spew, even now, even after there have been 2, maybe even 3 attempts on his life.
Right.
They don't care.
But it's the
they don't care. Yeah,
that's
but
got
we're the
the
ones.
violent rhetoric.
We're the ones.
My goodness.
Okay. All right, we got some tweets here from Kenneth. I'm going to probably need the Jackie specs to get through these. But Kenneth Parker tweets, did his wife's boyfriend tell him the commercial was funny? Oh, okay.
Oh, the guy who made the
commercial.
The men for Kamala commercial. So convincing, too, by the way. It looked like just everyday men that you know in your neighborhood. And
Sure.
Coworkers and whatnot.
From Sarah the Band, I eat carburetors for breakfast.
That's what the
Dude,
guy said.
You eat everything for breakfast.
Oh, there was a guy in the commercial that said that. Yeah. He was a big boy.
Yeah, big dude. From Hogasm, after hearing that from Bon Jovi, that John Bon Jovi song, now we know why that lady wanted to jump off the bridge.
Oh! Now you know the rest of the story. Now it all makes sense.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and it's not just guys that aren't getting behind Kamala Harris and the vote for November. It's black guys.
Oh, yeah.
And Democrats are not happy.
And Barack Obama was talking to a group of black men about that, right?
Yeah.
Here he is. We don't have enough time for that.
No, we don't have time for it.
We'll have to get to it after the break.
Yeah. How dare you wander off the plantation that us, the Democrat Party, have created for you? And he makes it clear.
We expect that of you.
That's right. Yeah.
You can only vote for one I guess if you don't vote for Kamala Harris, you're not black. We heard that before, right? From somebody. Who was it?
Who was that?
If
you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
There you go. There it is. Man.
I mean, how?
Jeez.
You say that to me?
Uh-huh.
I will never vote for your party again. I don't care who the candidate is.
Right.
Screw you.
Right. All right, 888-933-93. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. God save the Queen, man.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Pat Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Welcome to it. 888-933-93. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Whistleblower records obtained by the Maine Wire. It's interesting because you were just in Maine, Keith. And did you ever read the Maine Wire while you were there? You missed out if you didn't.
Shoot.
Yeah. So, along with voter registration records from the Maine Secretary of State's office, this shows that multiple votes have been cast in Maine under the names of legal and illegal aliens who should be ineligible to vote in U.S. federal, state, and local Maine elections. Okay, so just because you're here legally on a visa or whatever doesn't mean you can vote.
Yep.
Unless you're a U.S. citizen. That's when you can vote, when you're a citizen. So these are non-citizens who are voting. And they shouldn't be. The records include state-managed Medicaid billing profiles showing the names, addresses, social security numbers, dates of birth, phone numbers, and immigration status of legal aliens and illegal aliens who have voted in these elections. When the identities of the 18 legal and illegal aliens named in the records were cross-referenced with voting records from Maine Secretary of State, 6 of the individuals were registered to vote. So that's about a third. 5 had voted in elections since 2016, and all were registered Democrats. Isn't that great?
All. Yeah.
So how much is that happening?
I mean, seriously, come on.
All of them. were Democrats. Several of the medical records indicated that the registered Democrat voters have severe intellectual or developmental disabilities and cognitive impairment. And let's be honest, that's not unusual because you have to have severe intellectual disabilities to vote Democrat. Right? It's the only way you're going to vote for, say, Kamala Harris. One voter, in fact, who has not voted but was registered to vote as a Democrat in June is described in the medical records as having no cognitive capacity. None. Well, right. Again, it takes the intellectual and cognitive capacity of a vegetable to vote for these people. So this can't be surprising to anyone. But it is surprising that they're allowing these people to vote.
Yeah, but there's a little nugget in there in that story that you read that threw up a red flag for me, completely separate from the voting idiocy there.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that they cross-checked with, did you say Medicaid records? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
What the hell is an alien doing qualifying?
On Medicaid.
Right, and I'm looking it up, and sure
enough. Yep. I know. I know there's so much here.
Stop talking before bad words that aren't allowed on the air spill out of my mouth.
Yeah. There's
a lot of issues in this country that need addressing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just the voter rolls, but that is something else. And that this is just like the story in Arizona we talked about. The guy was like, I never registered to vote. Why am I registered to vote? I don't want to be on the voter rolls.
Right. Because he knew he wasn't eligible to vote.
Right.
He's, at least a somewhat honest person who's saying I shouldn't be on the voter registration rolls. No, you shouldn't. Thanks for pointing that out.
And thankfully, he got the stuff in the mail and then tried to do something about it.
Yeah.
How many people are getting this stuff in the mail
and just letting it go?
And just being like, oh, that's weird. And then crumple, crumple, crumple.
99.9% of all people are doing that.
Right, because
they're not worried about it.
It's almost like getting the value pack coupons in the mail. You're like, that's
whatever.
not me, whatever. I'm not going to vote, whatever. They don't need you to vote. They just need that name on the voter roll to use it to manufacture for these ballots to go through. That's all they need. They need the name on the voter roll. They don't need the voter at the voting booth.
And that's why it's so important not to have to show an ID once you get there. You show the ID, that doesn't match with the person on the roll. So in California, they just made that illegal to even ask. Yeah, they made checking their status at the voting booth illegal.
I mean, how do you look at that and not realize that it's nefarious?
I don't know. I really don't. I don't know why they don't think of it that way, because I guess they don't care. You can't care and allow that stuff to happen. Earlier, we played the ad featuring men who support Kamala Harris, but apparently black men aren't supporting her enough. So Barack Obama is out scolding them. Check this out.
Communities is that
I think we
have not yet seen the same kinds of energy
this is good, though.
and turnout.
You're not seeing the energy.
In all quarters
not seeing the turnout.
of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running.
Okay. And?
Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers.
Oh, gosh.
So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly.
Okay, go ahead.
And
Tell us.
Say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles,
spit it out,
and pain, joy that comes from those experiences. You said to work harder and do more.
Talk faster.
And overcome.
Oh my gosh.
Good heavens.
And achieves the second highest office in the land.
Yep.
Oh, jeez. I mean, it's too agonizing.
Yeah.
Took him way too long, so we just... No, I'm sorry.
What was the other quote that he had where he's like, the brothers aren't feeling the idea of a black woman as president? I mean, you racist.
No kidding.
Good grief.
I think I'd be a little offended by that. In fact, a lot offended by that.
Do you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump and you ain't black?
Okay. So... Are minorities getting tired of being told who they are and who they're supposed to vote for just because they're a certain color? Are you getting tired of that yet? Because I am. I'm really sick and tired of the racism involved there. And another politician who plays the race politics all the time, Congressman Jim Clyburn, had this to say over the weekend.
Yes, black men, like everybody else, want to know exactly what I can expect from Harris administration, and I've been very direct with them. And I've also contrasted that with what they can expect from a Trump administration. We will expect Project 2025
for gosh
to be a full-blown policy in his administration.
How many times do you have to say it?
And what would that policy be?
Tell us.
I described it on
What
the
would it
first
be?
night of our national convention, and I've been describing it that way ever since. It will be Jim Crow 2.0.
Stop it.
Now, I'm the ninth African American serving Congress
listen to this.
from South Carolina.
Ninth African American.
That means there were 8 before me.
Okay.
The problem is there were 95 years.
95 years.
Between number 8 and number 9. And the policies of that 95 years that kept us out of government, out of this economy, it's called Jim Crow.
Is he this?
And if you look at Project 2025, it will be Jim Crow 2.0.
Where do you get that? What about? Okay, I
I
can't listen to this. What about Project 2025? Is anything like Jim Crow 2.0? Tell me the policy. Specify it. You can't just. Well, he does. They just throw it out there and then compare it to whatever they want.
Babies living is Jim Crow 2.0. But he tries to make this case. Please tell me he isn't this ignorant of history. 95 years have passed since the last African-American senator from South Carolina. Well, gee, what happened in that century, Jim? What happened there? Democrats controlled politics in the South.
Right.
Reconstruction is why you had Republican senators who were black from the South. And then 100 years of Jim Crow kept your people
by the Democrats
down.
Yes.
Implemented by the Democrat
Democrats.
Party, the party that you're loyal to blindly.
Every time.
Oh my gosh, you idiot.
Every time.
Oh.
Also, the Biden-Harris Department of Justice has undertaken a bunch of lawsuits against local police and fire departments, alleging that it is racist to require the people they hire, entrusted with public safety, to know basic math.
Oh, no.
Yeah. One of the questions on the application is...
Oh, no.
Is this.
Oh, no.
Get this.
I bet I can't get it. If it's math.
One question asks, if a building is 350 feet away, how many 60-foot hoses would you need?
Okay, hold on.
That's racist, according to the DOJ.
6.
Wait, you can't do 350 divided by 60. Really? That's racist to expect that. How racist is that to believe it's racist that blacks and Hispanics can't do that math? Are you kidding me? How do they get away with this? Every day. Every single day. Oh, that's so insulting.
Yeah.
Also this month, the DOJ forced Maryland State Police to pay $2 3/4 million, so almost $3 million to women who were barred from being officers because they couldn't pass physical fitness testing exams. For instance, they couldn't run fast enough, and some of them couldn't pass a written test. Well, I'm sorry, we're not going to dumb down tests when you need to be able to do certain things in order to save the lives of others and your own. Wow. If this is what we're up against, how do you make this work? And the answer is you can't. You can't make it work.
And it's just going to be this kind of stuff on steroids if Kamala Harris becomes president of the United States.
It will be the end of us.
I mean, are they only asking the math questions of minority candidates for these jobs? Is that what's happening?
Apparently.
That must.
Yeah, apparently. Okay. Yeah.
It's just.
Mm-hmm.
So, Pat, you don't want the fastest firefighter to save you from a burning house?
No, I absolutely do.
Oh, you don't?
No, I do. I want
do.
the fastest
You
firefighter
do.
to save me.
That's so racist.
Yeah, because if he can't run fast enough to get into the building before it really bursts into flames and get me out, then I'm going to die in that building. And if he's too slow and he tries anyway, he's also going to die in that building. So, yeah, I'm kind of in favor of them passing physical fitness tests. I don't understand how anybody could be against that. Wow.
Does
anybody want Jeffy being a firefighter, running into a burning building, waddling into a burning building, whatever? And that's not about his size. That's about his knee. He waddles because of his knee.
It's his knee.
He's got a knee problem.
I thought it was because he was going to have the schematics of your house and he would know where the kitchen was and he'd make a pit stop on the way to saving you. Well, first I'm going to make a sandwich. You know what? Actually, get the woman in here. Make a sandwich, but the house is burning down.
Actually, don't worry about where I start my rescue. Whether it's in the kitchen or the entertainment room, don't worry about it. All right. Let me tell you about preborn. It would be so great if we could just wave a magic wand and end abortion. Wouldn't it? It would be phenomenal. That is not the case. And even since Roe v. Wade, do you know that abortion has actually gone up? There have been more abortions in the United States of America, not fewer. And the left is still screaming about it because they want it so prevalent and so common that you don't even have to think about it. You don't have to do anything. In fact, I guess abortionists will come to your home. It should be that convenient. The Ministry of Preborn empowers young expectant mothers in crisis to choose life. Preborn has rescued hundreds of thousands of babies through ultrasounds. When a woman considering abortion visits a preborn center, she gets to hear her baby's heartbeat and see that precious baby on an ultrasound. And it's a divine encounter. About 80% of the time, then, she chooses life. And once she does that, then preborn also helps her with emotional support, with, diapers and baby formula and baby food and all of the things that she's going to need up to the next 2 years. We can't shut down all abortions overnight, but we can work together to change the hearts and minds of expecting mothers by introducing them for the first time to the life inside them. If you can help us rescue babies' lives, go to dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, keyword baby, or go to preborn.com/Pat.
Pat Gray Unleashed. Sarcasm with 0 calories. Returns next.
All right, we got some tweets here that require the Jackie specs. From Fury and Energy, it's a brilliant move to register ineligible voters. They know most won't care to fix it if they even know about it. Very true. I bet a lot of people don't even know. Then if they actually investigate, who goes down? The totally unaware person who is just a name they could use?
Yeah, fact.
Lone Wolf 2965. The soft bigotry of low expectations is the type of racism that demo KKK rats are best at.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
True.
That is for sure. So insulting. Flensborg B, do not be afraid of the math, Keith. LOL.
Thank you. So, right?
Well, he shouldn't, because he did. He got this. How many 60-foot hoses do you need for if you're 360 feet away, 350 feet away? 6.
6. That's
Because
what I
5
said.
won't quite get you there.
Yeah.
6 is a little bit over, but that's fine.
You got about 10 foot of slack to work with.
That's perfect. So you need at least 6.
Thank you for giving me the credit. I appreciate
congratulations,
that. And now
Keith.
I passed the test.
Some pretty good Keith math there. He can be a firefighter.
The racist test. I still passed it.
But, of course, because he's whitey. He's a whitey over there. I guess people of color can't make that. They can't do the work there.
I mean,
it's so insulting. It's so bad.
It's so obvious to us, the racism involved in even going down that road.
Yep. We'd never do that. We would never do that.
Tell me that is obvious to the rest of the nation.
Please. By all that is holy. Again, we're doomed. If you can't noodle that one out, then we're doomed. Late last week, we were informed of a plot for Election Day violence. Remember that? The Afghan national, the Biden-Harris administration led into the U.S. with their program to bring Afghans here. So impeached DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas continues to avoid the discussion of that plot.
This is a big deal.
Can you quickly explain what the status is with this arrest this past week, or this prosecution we learned of this past week, of this Afghan national who was apparently planning an election day terrorist attack on behalf of ISIS? He was in this country. He had immigration status.
Pause it for a sec. Right now he's thinking, I came on Face the Nation because I didn't want to face these kinds of questions from the nation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now here you are asking me this, and I don't want to talk about it.
Because he berated a reporter when he was at the hurricane stuff.
I'm not going to talk about this here. It's not the time nor the place.
Mm-hmm. Well, this seems like a good place for
This does seem like the time and place, right? Let's hear the rest.
Was he radicalized before he came to the United States?
So, Margaret, it is an ongoing prosecution, so I won't speak of the facts, but the viewing public is getting an idea of the breadth and diversity of the missions that we in the Department of Homeland Security
tackle. But it gets to the issue of vetting versus whether he was radicalized here.
Remember, the individual came in through parole, an Afghan national, and when we vet, and we do so intensively, when we vet an individual, it's a point-in-time screening and vetting process.
Incredible.
Is it?
It's really incredible.
So if it's such a great screening and vetting process.
Yeah, how'd he get in? How? Incredible. Another area the impeached Alejandro Mayorkas oversees, of course, FEMA. And here was a recent conference call as they discussed emergency response priorities.
Sparked a few things in my mind, thinking about preparedness and how you said, LGBTQIA people and people who have been disadvantaged already are struggling. They already have their own things to deal with. So you add a disaster on top of that. It's just compounding on itself. And I think that is maybe the why we're having these discussions, is because it isn't being talked about. It isn't being socialized.
Oh my God.
We're not paying attention to this community. Thank you so much. Maggie.
Thank you. Yeah, there are a couple of things that are intersecting in my mind here. One of them is the culture of emergency management as an organization, as an industry in the United States specifically, not abroad. This has, and my cat sometimes does this. She gets really loud suddenly, so you'll have to just allow for the little meowing in the background. The shift that we're seeing right now is a shift in emergency management from utilitarian principles where everything is designed for the greatest good for the greatest amount of people.
Read it. Yeah, we don't want that,
disaster equity.
Read it
but we have to do more. Right. And so this topic is intersecting, I think, with a number of other topics where we have to look at policies.
She really likes mixing that
and understand to what extent they have disadvantaged communities that had less assets, communities that had pre-existing vulnerabilities in accessing disaster-related recovery supports.
Meow. You hear the cat back there. That's your government. I mean, that is your idiocracy government right there. And I love the pronouns underneath their names. That's also helpful.
Yeah, very.
But if you're now you're not watching that if you're a victim, particularly in
you don't have any power.
Western North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee, North Georgia, since you have no electricity or internet. But how pissed would you be?
Oh, jeez.
Wait a minute. So we can't get aid because we don't have a rainbow flag in front of our house? I just enraging.
It is. It absolutely is.
I know last week we had a FEMA training video. We didn't play for it. We have, if you want to see this, how FEMA trains people.
Oh no! All right, how long is it? Can we play it here? All right, let's see it.
Oh no!
When working to build an inclusive exercise program, it can be helpful to use the following approach. Thoughtfully consider inclusivity, diversity, equity, and accessibility throughout all aspects of a program or project. Create an inclusive culture by recognizing, understanding, and working to address individual biases. Listen to and learn about individuals different from oneself, and use a holistic mindset to identify all segments of the community that could be affected and engage them as appropriate.
All right, there we go. Now, when your house is floating down the street on a wave of storm surge, you're going to be really happy that FEMA is all about inclusivity, equity, and diversity. You're going to be happy that they've hired people from all walks of life. Handy-capable,
please.
Black, brown,
green.
Red, green, purple, fuchsia, whatever. You're going to be happy there's no whiteys coming to your rescue.
Thank you.
Thank goodness.
Someone
it's all people of diversity. It's all people of color. It's the IPOCs. Is it the IPOCs? BIPOC. That's what it is.
How dare you?
I know. That was terrible.
That was so
it's
racist.
The BIPOCs. Yes. The BIPOCs are coming. The BIPOCs are coming. And they're going to save you. So that'll be great. Wow. If you really want to help people and you're not worried about the diversity or inclusivity, you just want to help whoever needs it. Mercury1.org. Contribute, get help to people.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
And bam, welcome. Keith, we have a disgruntled listener this morning, I guess?
Oh, shoot. Oh, we're going to do this? Okay, well, yeah, Lynn is a great listener. She's very loyal, but, we encourage you to think for yourself, and if there's something that we're doing that's lacking in your expectations or not doing, we expect you to call us out. And so Lynn has done this, and a series of tweets this morning directed at both yourself and me,
And what have we done or not done?
Well, I've heard 5 times from her on Twitter, at Keith Malinak. She's upset that we didn't mention the Aiden Hutchinson injury for the Detroit Lions yesterday, where his leg was horrific.
Oh, the broken leg.
So nasty. And so I hope she's still listening, because she did say that we've let her down. Shame on us.
Shame
all
on
caps.
us.
We suck right now. She's turning us off, so she may not hear this.
Don't do it.
We're mentioning it now.
Because, Lynn, we have NFL injury updates every 8 minutes on the 7s.
Yeah.
On Mondays.
That's right.
Every 8 minutes on the 7s.
We just haven't gotten there yet.
Now it's time, and so here's your update.
So here we go. It's a nasty leg injury.
What's his name? Aiden Hutchinson?
Aiden Hutchinson. Probably their best.
Broken leg.
Yep. Ugh, so bad.
Dang. It wasn't a compound fracture, was it? Or
I don't
was it?
know
It wasn't like the Joe Theismann thing. Right, where his bone is sticking out of his leg.
His leg whipped around, it ran into a teammate's, and then it turned into a wet noodle.
Oh,
it was so bad.
Gosh,
it was. So I don't know.
But didn't they wouldn't show it, right? They wouldn't show it again.
Well, Twitter showed it.
Oh, they did.
Me and my daughter watched it about 12 times yesterday.
Man.
It's bad.
Ooh, I heard
really
it was bad.
Yeah,
I heard it was. I wasn't watching the game. But yeah, NFL injury updates from the weekend.
But she
every 8 minutes on the 7s.
But see, she said,
and she's not. Is she gone now?
Well, I mean, the last I heard was no mention in all caps of Hutchinson injury. You suck right now, turning you off. So, Len, I hope you got to hear that we just mentioned it.
I hope you didn't miss it.
And prayers to Aiden, because he seems like a really good guy, a local kid. He was a high draft pick by them, probably their best defensive player. And just hate to see that.
Yeah, you do.
Yep.
And by the way, the Detroit Lions massacred the Dallas Cowboys yesterday. Holy cow.
What's going on with the Cowboys?
The weeping and wailing on local Dallas radio this morning is incredible.
And in the office, too.
Oh.
Like, you got Cowboys fans that, like, I didn't know we even have... Do we have a football team locally? I didn't know that. 47-9. By the way, my...
47-9.
My Super Bowl pick, Detroit Lions,
man.
by the way.
Really?
So I jinxed them, so that's definitely not happening now. Sorry.
Although they're doing pretty well. You know, and to destroy Dallas like that, sheesh.
Yes, sir.
Wow. That doesn't happen very often in the NFL, where you beat somebody by almost 40 points.
By the way, your NFC North, all 4 teams are making the playoffs.
Yeah.
They all, you got the undefeated Vikings. You've got now, what are they, 4-1 Lions. The Packers are, I think, 4-2, right?
I think 4-2.
And the Bears look good. It was against Jacksonville, but I think they're 4-2 now as well. That's insane. All the North teams looking good.
Yeah.
So I don't know anything about football, but I saw this tweet and reminded me of you guys. According to this stat from Jeff, last 4 home games for the Cowboys loses by combined of 82. And today, which was yesterday,
they've lost how many? By a combined 82 points?
82 points.
How many?
4 games?
4 games.
4 games.
So 20
and then
by 82 points.
Yesterday was the worst home loss for Jerry Jones in a 35-year run as a owner. The previous record was 33 to Philly in 2001.
Wow. That's not good.
And yesterday was his birthday. Happy
Jerry
birthday,
Jones?
Jerry. Yeah.
Turned 82 yesterday.
Wow, he looks great for 82.
He does.
There's a video of him
he does.
walking out.
Plastic on your face will do that for you.
Oh, okay.
But still, here he is, a billionaire, and he's soaking up like the endorsement money he's doing Ford truck commercials and stuff now. Do you really need that?
I did see that yesterday.
Chair, let your boys do that. All right, let your Cowboys do that.
That's when I learned
you don't need the cash.
Ford is the official sponsor of the Cowboys.
Yes, they are. Yep. All right. So J.D. Vance put Martha Raddatz from ABC News in her place. Oh, man. In regard to Donald Trump's claim that apartment complexes in Denver are being taken over by Venezuelan gangs who are in this country illegally. And it's true. But listen to this exchange between the two of them, J.D. Vance and Martha Raddatz.
We played some other comments about migrants, including in Aurora, in Colorado, where Trump said the city had been invaded and conquered by Venezuelan gangs. The Republican mayor of the city said flatly the city and state have not been taken over or invaded or occupied by migrant gangs. So do you support Donald Trump making those claims that the Republican mayor says were grossly exaggerated and have hurt the city's identity and sense of safety? I understand what you're saying, that some people left behind, but he's making these statements that the mayor is flat out disputing.
Well, Martha, you just said the mayor said they were exaggerated.
Grossly exaggerated.
There's got to be some. That means there's got to be some element of truth here. And of course, President Trump was actually in Aurora, Colorado, talking to people on the ground. And what we're hearing, of course, Martha, is that people are terrified by what has happened with some of these Venezuelan gangs.
Senator Vance, I'm going to stop you because I know exactly what happened.
Martha.
I'm going to stop you. The incidents were limited to a handful of apartment complexes, and the mayor said our dedicated police officers have acted on those concerns. A handful of problems.
Only, Martha, do you hear yourself? Only a handful of apartment complexes in America were taken over by Venezuelan gangs, and Donald Trump is the problem and not Kamala Harris's open border. Americans are so fed up with what's going on, and they have every right to be. And I really find this exchange, Martha, sort of interesting because you seem to be more focused with nitpicking everything that Donald Trump has said, rather than acknowledging that apartment complexes in the United States of America are being taken over by violent gangs. I worry so much more about that problem than anything else here. We've got to get American communities in a safe space again. And unfortunately, when you let people in by the millions most of whom are unvetted, most of whom you don't know who they really are, you're going to have problems like this. Kamala Harris, 94 executive orders that undid Donald Trump's successful border policies. We knew this stuff would happen. They bragged about opening the border, and now we have the consequences, and we're living with it. We can do so much better, but frankly, we're not going to do better, Martha, unless Donald Trump calls this stuff out. I'm glad that he did.
Okay, let's just end that with they did not invade or take over the city, as Donald Trump said. I want to move on to
just a few apartment complexes, no big deal.
A few apartment complexes that the mayor did not seem was invading the entire city.
Oh, I bet she's fun.
That's stunning
to have a conversation with.
Yeah,
when she's wrong.
I bet she is. Yeah.
Got to get the last word, even if I'm so 180 degrees wrong.
I mean, that was a bloodbath beatdown. That was unbelievable. So it's only a few apartment complexes that they've taken over completely.
Oh, that's fine.
Venezuelan gangs haven't taken over the entire state. Just some apartment complexes. Okay, so that's not a problem at all for you? That's not an issue for you or for the mayor? Are you serious? So good. J.D. Vance is awesome.
Yeah. He's
turned out to be really good. Really, really good. You know who's not is Tim Walz.
Oh, go.
Oh, no. Even though he's an avid hunter. Oh, my gosh. This guy loves to hunt. In fact, I'm surprised he has any time to campaign because I'm sure he's out there hunting all the time. And here he is out on the hunt. Loading his gun real quick.
Okay, real quick,
Yeah, that's my theory. And it never fits quite right. Never fits quite right.
Yeah.
It's not quite right.
Hello? Not quite right. And so,
Governor, what kind of gun
is
it? This is a Beretta A400.
Yeah, $2,100
I
shotgun.
bought it when I was shooting a lot of trap.
Sure.
It has a kind of their patented thing, a kickoff.
Yeah.
When you get old.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't hurt your shoulder as much.
All right.
Okay,
How
now
many
he's
of you
ready
out
to go.
here wearing Kevlar vest? It doesn't hurt your shoulders much. Well, if you don't shoot it, yeah.
It's not going to hurt your shoulder at all when you're not shooting it.
There's a lot going on with that clip. First, I'd like to point out that is a semi-automatic shotgun, but why do you need that, Governor? I don't know if you want to read this entire tweet from Amuse because it goes through a lot with what we just witnessed there.
Oh, really?
But there might be some federal laws broken.
Oh, from just what we saw
From
there?
just what we saw from Tim Walz, avid hunter extraordinaire with his Beretta.
Amuse writes, illegal firearm? Did Tim Walz violate state and or federal law by using a magazine that was too large? Sure sounded like he loaded 5 shells into his shotgun.
It sure did.
Tim's handmade Italian shotgun can hold 4 shells in the magazine and 1 in the chamber. Bird hunters know that you've got to use a plug to limit the capacity of your shotgun to 2 shells in the magazine and 1 in the chamber. Did Tim forget about this rule? Or is the truth that he had no idea what he was doing? The press pool on the hunt reported that Tim never fired his shotgun at any point during the hunt.
All right, well.
The penalty for Tim's transgression is a $15,000 fine, 6 months in jail, and forfeiture of his firearm. Also, how does a high school teacher with no savings or investments afford a handmade Italian shotgun? Was it a gift from the CCP on one of his many visits?
That's too bad.
Finally, for those of you who are avid bird hunters, you might know that if you're the only hunting pheasant, there's no limit on the size of your magazine. You can use a 32-shell drum magazine if you like, unless you're in a waterfowl production area, a WPA. If you're in a WPA, you've got to use a plug to limit your magazine size. Sleepy Eye, Minnesota is located in the Windham Wetland Management District, which oversees about 17,000 acres of federal waterfowl production areas spread across 13 counties in southern Minnesota. These WPAs are part of the National Wildlife Refuge System and are managed for waterfowl production, wildlife habitat, and recreation activities, including hunting. If you're hunting pheasants in areas that are designated WPAs, you need to follow federal regulations, which include limiting shotgun capacity to 3 shells. This rule applies in federal WPAs to align with general waterfowl hunting regulations and conservation efforts. Therefore, if hunting pheasants in a WPA near Sleepy Eye, you must use a plug to limit your shotgun capacity to 3 shells to comply with these regulations.
Well, then.
And he clearly did not.
Did not.
Okay. So, $15,000 fine, 6 months in jail, I guess.
I'm okay with that.
And we confiscate the firearm, the $2,100 firearm.
Yeah, but if we put him in jail right now, then we're not going to have him on the campaign trail where he's been so useful.
Oh, hasn't he been great?
Harris Walz campaign. And I miss this. I just hate this. This was, I don't know when this was posted the other day, but apparently he did a live World of Warcraft Twitch stream.
Sure did.
Right? I bet that was good.
I bet it was.
So, again, just hate that I
I'm sorry I missed that.
Shoot. You guys are not on Twitch, man.
Darn.
Twitch is where it's at.
So, did you watch it then?
I watched clips.
Did you?
Yeah.
Was it exciting?
Oh, it was the best thing you ever find on the internet.
I'll bet. All right, let me tell you about Lumen. What is Lumen? It is the world's first handheld metabolic coach. This device measures your metabolism through your breath. You just breathe into this thing, and using the app, it tells you if you're burning fat or carbs. How great is that? It also provides customized guidance to improve your nutrition, your workouts, your sleep, and even stress management. So how does it work? Well, it's really simple. All you have to do is breathe into your Lumen first thing in the morning, and you'll know what your metabolism is, if you're burning mostly fats or mostly carbs. From there, Lumen gives you a personalized nutrition plan for the day. You can even breathe into it before and after workouts or meals to get real-time insights and tips on your body's needs. Why does metabolic health matter? Well, your metabolism is like your body's engine. If it's running smoothly, you can enjoy better energy, weight management, sleep, and fitness results. Lumen can also track hormonal shifts and adjust your recommendations accordingly. Just fantastic. If you're ready to boost your health, go to lumen.me, so Lumen, lumen.me/Pat, and get 15% off your Lumen. And thanks to Lumen for sponsoring this episode. But again, it's Lumen, lumen.me/Pat.
Pat Gray Unleashed is back.
All right. I understand there's a rumor going around that Joe Biden is still the president. Is that true?
Have we substantiated?
I don't think we have.
Hold on a second.
I don't think so.
I don't think he knows he's still president.
He does not.
He went down to Florida to survey the damage caused by Milton. So I don't know if he did that as a private citizen or if he thought he was still a representative of the government. I don't know.
He wants to help.
But
I keep forgetting I'm president.
Yeah. He, of course, made it all about himself, as he always does.
But I know from experience how devastating it is to lose your home.
Oh, jeez.
Several years ago, my home was struck by lightning.
Lightning, fire.
Didn't all burn down, but we were out of the home for 7 months while it was being repaired.
Is that true?
The thing I was most concerned about was not just the home, was
what else?
all those things.
What things?
All those pictures I saved my daughter had drawn when she was little.
They had a small kitchen fire.
All the family photographs, all the albums, all the things that really matter.
Things. And, do you have all those photos in the kitchen?
Right.
Is that where you have your photos up? He's such a lying sack.
All the drawings from his daughter were in the kitchen. You're right, yes.
Oh, God.
I'm trying to figure out. Let's see.
Can't
So he
take
says
it.
he was out of his house for 7 months.
No.
That's not right.
That can't be true, right? Because it was just a tiny little thing that was ended by the fire department instantly. Come on.
So we know that he almost lost his wife. He's told us in the past.
And his Corvette.
And his cat.
Right.
Meow.
Yep.
But now is is the car in the kitchen? Is the cat in the kitchen? The
Yes.
drawings in the kitchen? Well, we know the wife
was in the kitchen.
Needs to be in the kitchen.
Right.
Who's with me? Jeff Fisher. All right. So, I mean, this guy sucks in every way imaginable. Go away.
It's going to be so nice. Well, I hope. I hope it's going to be so nice. Beginning November 6th. Because at least then you'll know, okay, on the 20th, this all ends. January 20th, it all ends. I hope. So we'll see.
Well, it will end. Something will end on January 20th.
Something will, yes.
Something will end.
Yes, someone's reign of terror will, but will it begin another reign of terror?
There you go.
It better not be America that ends on
that's
January
for sure.
20th.
Right.
Well, only 98 days, 4 hours, 6 minutes.
98 days, 4 hours,
6 minutes.
6 minutes.
I mean, right now,
okay.
What's today's date?
14th.
14th?
Yeah, it's 14th already.
We got 2,
We're
4,
already halfway
6,
through
8,
October almost. Jeez.
13 states can go ahead and vote.
Right now?
Yep.
Wow.
And then tomorrow, Georgia. Oh, congratulations to Jimmy Carter. If you make it to tomorrow,
you'll vote.
You can vote.
You can vote for Kamala like we know you wanted to because your grandson that has no life and nothing better to do, Jason Carter, has been telling us everything you've been doing for the last 18 months.
Mm-hmm. Also, Ron DeSantis, this was from last week, right? Where he's asked about global warming as it applies to these hurricanes.
He's just so good.
Oh, my gosh, he's great. Here it is.
Global warming?
Tornadoes?
Yeah, it's increase in tornadoes.
I think you could go back and find tornadoes for all of human history for sure.
Thank you.
And especially, Florida, how does this storm rate in kind of the history of storms? I think it hit with a barometric pressure of, what was it, about 950 millibars when it hit? Which I think if you go back to 1851, there's probably been 27 hurricanes that have had lower so the lower the barometric pressure, the stronger it is. I think there have been about 27 hurricanes that have had lower barometric pressure on landfall than Milton did.
Good
and
for
of
you,
those,
Ron. Thank
17
you. Thank you.
Occurred, I think, prior to 1960. And the most powerful hurricane on record since the 1850s in the state of Florida occurred in the 1930s, the Labor Day hurricane. Barometric pressure on that was 892 millibars. It totally wiped out the Keys. We've never seen anything like it, and that remains head and shoulders above any powerful hurricane that we've ever had in the state of Florida. The most deadly hurricane we've ever had was in 1928, the Okeechobee hurricane. Killed over 4,000 people. Fortunately, we aren't going to have anything close to that on this hurricane, but even ones like Ian, where you had, wasn't even close to that. So I just think people should put this in perspective. They try to take different things that happen with tropical weather and act like it's something. There's nothing new under the sun. This is something that the state has dealt with for its entire history.
Yes.
And it's something that we'll continue to deal with. I think what's changed is we've got 23 million people. A storm that hits is likely to hit more people and property than it would have 100 years ago, and so the potential for that damage has grown. But what's also changed is our ability to do the prevention, to pre-stage the assets. I mean, we never did the pre-staging of power assets until I became governor. Now people expect that, but that wasn't what was done in the past. That's why people would be out with power for 3 weeks when we'd have hurricanes. We thought that that's not good. Now we have to pay to get these guys to come in, but my view is the quicker you get everyone hooked up, the better off the economy is going to be anyway. So why don't we just do that? Having the different search and rescue, having a state guard, all these different things are just bringing different tools to the fight, and it allows us to respond more effectively. So if we had the tools that we had in 1928 to fight an Ian or to fight some of these, you would have had higher death tolls. There's no question about that.
Wow.
That's what we call laying down the facts.
Right.
That is masterfully done. I want to show you something from that Hurricane Milton that spawned the tornadoes that were not caused by global warming, as the reporter suggested.
They were caused by the hurricane, though.
That's right. Yeah. So solar energy is the way to go.
Of course it is.
Solar panels
of course
everywhere.
It is,
that
Keith.
is the
Yes,
future.
Absolutely.
Right? So this is a solar.
Oh, jeez. A solar farm?
A solar farm, and a tornado from Milton decided it wanted to tour the solar farm.
Oh, man.
As you can see,
Wow.
That's a problem.
No damage, right?
Yeah.
No damage. Yeah, that's not damage.
Just
That's,
a little bit of damage.
Put it together like a puzzle.
Yeah, if you're listening and you're not watching this, there's quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Oh,
I mean, it wiped the solar farm out.
Yes, it did.
I bet that doesn't work at all now.
Right. You want to know why? If you live close to that and you don't have electricity,
that's why.
That's why.
Yeah. And you're, huge into solar power.
What a mess.
Wow, that's incredible. Jeez.
Yep.
But what a beatdown.
Yeah. You say about global warming, the 45 tornadoes that were spawned by the hurricane. What about climate change? What about climate change?
I can't take it. I just can't. But Ron DeSantis has some facts in his head and can articulate them back to the morons who are asking him stupid questions. Oh, that's fantastic. Good for him.
Yep.
Love it. Hey, you've been some serious beatdowns between J.D. Vance and you know what? Trump's speech over the weekend was really good, too. Especially at the end there where he's laying down what America's going to be like over the next 4 years when he's elected. All right, we will see you again tomorrow. We got overtime coming up today.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.